Hi, I'm Dr. Margreet Wibbeling, midwife specialist and your host of the Birth and Baby show, brought to you by Sister Lillian Center and Sensitive Midwifery. We empower moms and midwives to have the best birthing and parenting experience through natural, physiological and intuitive care, resulting in birth and baby advice you can trust. So welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. In this episode, we are talking with Amy Teixeira. She is a mom of a beautiful baby boy, and we are busy with the birth options series. And one of the options that we have, in South Africa at least, is an elective Caesarean section. Tune in and listen to the story, you will learn a lot. This episode is brought to you by Pegasus Homeopathics. Pegasus is a trusted household name that provides safe and effective remedies for everyday ailments and little pregnancy niggles. The good news is that it's 100% safe during pregnancy and for babies. Visit www.pegasuskids.com. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode. We are so excited about the series that we're doing. It's all about birth options. And I have got a special guest in the studio with me. It can't be better than that. And her name is Amy, and she's going to say her surname herself.
Teixeira Perescus.
That's the one. Amy, I'm so glad that you could make it and that you are prepared to share your story with our audience.
Thanks,
because there's nothing better than a real life story, and you've got something really good to share.
Yeah.
So first of all, tell us, what kind of birth did you have? We're going to talk about birth stories today, so you can share about what your birth was. How did it go?
I had an elective C-Section. So I chose, I think, before I even knew I was pregnant, I always knew I'd probably have an elective C-Section. It was just something more comfortable for me and something that, I didn't need to process, if I can share about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think as soon as we fell pregnant, I was quite set on, I'm going to have a C-section. It sounded easier. It was more... I've heard so many bad stories about natural birth that I was just like, there's so much fear on the idea of even trying natural that I was like, no, C-section. So I think my husband was also very pro-natural. Mm-hmm. And he was always like, no, let's just consider our options. And so we went to antenatal classes with you, which was amazing. And I learned so much about the positives of natural birth. And it really was something I actually started considering. And I prayed and I was like, Lord, if you want me to do natural, like, please give me the peace.
Yeah.
And I prayed and I heard all the positive things. And I thought, natural really is the way to go. But I still just had this fear of... I'm not too sure if this is for me. After praying about it and really like considering natural birth, I still did not have peace. And I think for me, that was a big thing. And if I could tell mummies out there, follow your peace, see what peace you have if it's natural or C-section, because in the end, C-section was actually the right option for me. And our little boy ended up having a bit of a lung problem. And if we had done natural, it could have actually affected him. And there could have been a lot more complications.
Right.
So, I think it's very important to follow your peace. And I followed my peace and I went with the C-section. And it ended up being the best thing for us. Yeah. It's amazing if I actually look back and see that choosing a C-section was actually right for us. Because he ended up having such complications afterwards. That doing the C-section was very calm, everything was good. As soon as he came out, he was blue.
Yeah,
and
sure.
They actually had to put him on oxygen. And
so what was actually the reason?
So if I can be honest with you, I really believe that it was a spiritual thing. As a Christian, the best way for the doctors to describe it was a shadow on his lungs.
Wow.
And the song he was actually born to was the song It's Your Breath in Our Lungs. Sorry, emotional.
Yeah.
But so it was amazing that he was born to a song that said, God, your breath is in our baby boy's lungs. And then his lungs were attacked.
Sure.
And it ended up that his lungs collapsed. Well, his left lung collapsed and put pressure on his right lung, which caused fluids to come in there and his heart to expand and a few other complications.
Yeah.
And the only thing my husband and I could do was pray. And we actually got the whole community to pray for him as well. And it was such an incredible experience because we could see and we could feel the prayers of people just lifting us up. And a lot of people were like, this must be such a stressful time. And we're like, it is. But we have so much peace as well. We really felt like the prayers were lifting us up and taking us through this crazy time. And in the end, he healed up faster than they expected him to.
Wow.
He had a bit of edema, which is a swelling as well.
Yeah.
And he ended up, they said that can take weeks to heal. And my husband had a prophetic word of, he just felt the word acceleration. He saw a vision of a horse and he felt the word acceleration. And that was when our boy was at his worst with the edema.
Sure.
Which can also take your life like very easily.
Totally. Yeah.
And within a week, he was 100% healed. And the edema was gone. And they were like, okay, cool, let's latch him now. And he latched straight away.
Wow.
So it was such a, I think really, it was just glory to God because...
What did the doctor say?
With regards to what?
To the progress. I mean, I saw this ectic case and the swollen baby.
Can I tell you what was amazing? When we came back, the week after he had left hospital, I had to go back for a checkup with a pediatrician. And the doctor was, I promise you, he was borderline on tears. He just stared at Koa. He just stared at this boy and was just like, how is this the same boy? And the amazing thing, he's just so Christian. Yeah. And I just said to him, you know what, do you know how many people were praying for this boy? And he said, he can see it. And he says, he knew that we were Christians because he says, this boy fought. And he fought it hard and he survived. He said, to be honest. He said, to be honest, he actually surprised and made it. So, it was amazing. The doctor said it's only God. And just everything that worked out from it just being this shadow, which was on the lungs, and that was the song he was born to him swelling up. It was just like, it was a fight from day one. And the crazy part is his name, Koa, means brave warrior, fighter. And he was a fighter. So, such an incredible
what a radical
little testimony. Yeah, he's a fighter, that little one.
I wonder what's up for his life, hey?
Yeah, that's exactly what all the nurses said even. Like when we left, a lot of the nurses said to us, this boy's got a calling on his life. And those who weren't Christians were like, this guy's going to be
there's something about him.
There's something about this boy. So, he's got such an incredible journey ahead of him. And we are excited that God gifted us with a boy that's called.
So you are just going to keep listening to that peace and
100%
and wisdom to guide him. And it starts in pregnancy. It starts way before. So it's you're going to need it for the rest of your life. To
exactly. The piece of the C-section to him needing. I think. No. The doctor even said if he had done natural, he probably wouldn't have survived because if any complications, if he had gotten stuck in the birth canal for too long, it was all in his lungs.
He would have fetal distress and all of that.
100%. So
sure.
God knows, follow your peace.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Amy. I think so many women can identify with how you started. Like, I'm pregnant. I'm having a Caesar. I'm full of fear. There's a lot of horror stories out there. So that is I think something lots of people can identify with.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I also like that you shared that you had a little bit of that natural birth was a bit redeemed in your mind. You were open to explore your options.
Definitely, yeah.
So you weren't like blocking yourself to, okay, I'm just going to do Caesar. So you were exploring your options still. So did that help you or in your process, or was it getting a bit more confusing?
To be honest, I think it was actually a very positive thing because it helped me to see why women are so pro-natural. I think often I just saw the scary side of it. I just heard the bad stories and I was like, oh, no, there's so much fear there. But then hearing all the positive stories about it's actually so good for you, it's so good for the baby, and all the benefits of natural birth. So it was I wouldn't say it was confusing because I liked hearing the good things. But I still just needed to follow my peace. And my peace, unfortunately, didn't go that direction. But again, it ended up working out for us.
So that is a very important message, I think, that you also carry, is that birth is not a black and white.
Yes.
I mean, you can say, okay, these are my options. I'm choosing that or that, and it is a unique journey for every single person, and you never really know how it's going to unfold. And it's so important. I like it that you have been able to follow in your peace. For some people, they call it their intuition,
Yes.
or that, because that is essential. And I really, really have seen in my experience that women that are listening to that, they know actually deep down, they know something that others, your caregiver, might not be able to know. You just sort of, it's your story, it's your birth, it's your life that you're very much invested in, and God for this reason can give you peace or not peace to help you make the right decisions.
Yeah, definitely.
What down the road is going to be the best for you, and that was your story in the end, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to share a little bit more about the actual procedure and how it all went, and how you experienced the Caesar.
I made sure to actually chat to a few of my friends who had C-sections, and I asked them what happened with them. We actually ended up going at 38 weeks to do the C-section because of COVID. So we actually had to go a little bit earlier, and it was a good experience overall. I think a lot of people forget that it is an operation. It's not all, okay, cool, we're going in, yay, baby comes out, walk out. It is an operation. So for the next few days, you're very sore.
Yeah.
Your body has to heal, you have to heal. And so you roll you in, they do the procedure, you are out of it a bit because they give you medicine, and baby comes out and everything's good. But it's the healing afterwards that I think we often forget about.
Yeah.
So we sometimes hear all the scary things about natural birth, but C-section has its scary bits as well. Trying to get up the next morning is virtually impossible.
Right.
They have to send a physio in to come help you and teach you this is how you get out of bed in the morning.
Wow, yeah.
And for that first week, you just having to get out of bed in a certain way.
Yeah.
So even though it was an easy process initially, after effects are much longer. And we have heard about that before. With natural birth, it's a quick healing. But with C-section, it's a much more longer, drawn out process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a surgery
operation.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that I think is one of the biggest things to take in consideration if you are exploring your options. In many countries, actually, an elective Caesar is not an option.
Sure.
Yeah. So in South Africa, if you are fortunate enough to have medical aid and can go to a private sector, then that has become an option.
Yeah.
But most countries will only give a cesarean section if there's an emergency, an indication for it. And that is also how it happens in the government sector. So you go for natural, wait for a baby to tell when it's ready to come, and then only Caesar when. So I think you were probably also typically in your environment, in your culture that you grow up in, that is actually the conversation that goes out there that, hey, let's do a Caesar, it's an option.
Yes.
So that is the reality. Now that you actually explained also, yes, with a Caesar, it's quite good that you can schedule it. With elective Caesar, for the time, your day, that's very convenient. Especially I can imagine for a type like you that like to have your life planned.
Yes, definitely.
Right? Yeah, so that's the absolute pro. You like it. It's a more controlled environment.
Yes.
But Amy, tell me then, after your birth, things were completely out of control.
Yes. Hey? So we had a bit of our little boy had a bit of a lung infection that they didn't pick up straight away. Because a lot of C-section babies end up having wet lung because, again, pro-natural. If you have natural, the wet lung doesn't happen because it goes through the birth canal. But because he had a C-section, he had a bit of wet lung, and they thought it was just that, and they kind of left it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there was actually a complication. And when he was 4 days old, we almost lost him, which was a bit scary because they didn't pick up the other infection as well.
Sure.
So he was in hospital for a full month with his lungs healing, his heart healing, and just a bunch of other things. But in the end, our boy is strong and healthy. And because he was already 38 weeks, was almost 39 weeks, he was a strong, healthy baby. And that was a positive that he was able to, pull through. And Also, the the healthcare industry, what do you call
Yeah.
it? Yeah, they were absolutely incredible, and they took good care of our boy, and he was able to push through.
You made it through.
100%, which is
Sure.
amazing.
Wow. So you've been through an interesting journey
Yes.
into motherhood.
Yes, definitely. The first
Yeah.
month of his life was very interesting, very
Yeah.
traumatic. But we are so grateful for the little boy he is today. So
Yeah, amazing. Sure.
yeah.
Well, congrats and well done.
Thank you.
I think no matter what, to give birth is just a big deal.
Definitely.
And to have your baby in your arms, a healthy baby.
Yes.
I mean, you'll appreciate it even more with the things you've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So Amy, if there's anything that you would like to share to the listeners, there's obviously lots of moms listening in that need to still decide on their birth, that are falling pregnant, or for a second time round. What would you like to share?
I think, ladies, follow your peace. See what you're feeling, because even though I know there's so many pros with natural birth, I had a peaceful C-section, and in the end, that was the best thing for us and for our little boy, especially with his complications. It was what he needed, and so follow your peace and do what you feel is best for you.
Wonderful. And then you have some practical tips on recovery for Caesar. What have you learned?
I think definitely take it slow, in the sense of getting out of bed. Definitely take it slow. But so one thing I learned was the quicker you get going, the quicker you get up and walking around, the quicker you heal. So if you are doing an elective C-section, get moving, get walking, but be very, look after yourself and be calm with yourself. Give yourself a bit of time out and let your husband hold the baby, or whoever's helping you hold the baby and help you in that sense. Yeah,
that's helpful.
Yeah.
And obviously with you, the breastfeeding was anyway not happening, I can imagine, because baby was admitted to NICU. How did that go for you?
So the first month was just expressing milk. So I was so blessed to have an electric breast pump. I think if I had done it manual, it would have been a very long day, but I was taught to still keep up with the 3-hourly expressing. Yeah. So that was actually quite easy in a sense, because there's no complications of how much is he drinking. I would be able to empty my breasts and feel comfortable, which was lovely. But as soon as he came home, he latched very quickly. We were very blessed with that. Then my breasts had to get used to, okay, how much is he drinking compared to how much I expressed. Yes. And that was a whole new adventure.
Sure. Yeah.
So we had to figure that out, but it ended up working out. I just have to say, ladies, be patient. It's it's not easy. You have to figure it out, and listen to people who say massage in the shower. It works.
Okay, massage in the shower.
Definitely.
Wonderful. It's amazing how many tips you can pick up on the way. Hey?
Definitely. Yeah.
And you never know what you're going to need before the time. So on the way it happens. Amy, thank you so much for sharing our story, your story.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best with your beautiful family. I'm so happy that Koa is healthy and flourishing.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you.
Cool. So that was us for today on elective Caesar. So the thing with an elective Caesar is that it is a planned, scheduled Caesar. That's the difference when it comes to an emergency Caesar. So that is just where the elective comes in, and it's more a controlled environment. I think we covered quite a lot, the pros and the cons. If you have any more questions, reach out to us. If you want to get more preparation for your birth and your birth options, we've got a lovely antenatal course that Amy also did. Yes. And follow us. There's a lot of resources on our blogs, and subscribe to our newsletter. We are here to help you and assist you that you can have the best journey that works for you. That was us. Bye. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, please share this with a friend who will benefit from this. And remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified whenever we release new videos like this on our channel. We'd love to stay in touch and keep you updated with all our latest content and resources to equip and empower you. So if you're a midwife or any type of birth and baby worker, go to sensitivemidwifery.co.za/ free gift. If you're a mom, visit sisterlillian.co.za/free gift for more training and resources. That way we can keep you up to date when we release new episodes like this, plus a few other bonuses. You can also find the links I just mentioned in the show notes. Remember, you're making a big difference because you are shaping the future of humankind. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to journeying with you.